Hello. So I wanted to make a video about MAT, also called medication assisted treatment, because honestly, I feel like there's a lot of confusion around what it is. And so it's good to kind of define that. Medication assisted treatment is not using. It's certainly not numbing out. MAT is exactly what it sounds like. It's right there in the name. It's treatment. It's medication assisted treatment for opioid use disorder. Now let's define sobriety, because we all know everyone's got a different definition of that. And truly, I think to each his own, right? Like we all our sobriety is what we need it to be. It's pretty personal, and I think that's okay. However, for the purpose of this video, I will say that sobriety is when you're not using. Even if you're on MAT, if you're not chasing a high, if you're not constantly escalating your dose, if you're not doing things that are destroying your life, then you're sober. You're in recovery. Now, of course, MAT can be abused. Lots of clinics, unfortunately, overdose people. Lots of clinics continue to dose people even when they're still failing their drug tests. A lot of patients end up on doses that leave them sedated, and they stay parked there and stuck for years. And that's what they want. I don't know that I would consider those people to really be in recovery, though. But the abuse existing doesn't invalidate, those that are using the treatment successfully. Someone who's actively tapering, someone who's working on themselves, showing up in life, going to therapy, rebuilding relationships, telling that kind of person that they're not sober just because they're on medication assisted treatment, even though they're stable, compliant, and actively improving their lives, that doesn't really serve any therapeutic purpose. It doesn't help recovery. It doesn't help harm reduction. I kind of feel like it only enforces a hierarchy in recovery. And I feel like if you're someone whose recovery depends on invalidating someone else's, then you're not in recovery. Recovery is getting your life back. Recovery is honesty. Recovery is stability. Recovery is accountability. It's growth. Recovery is not suffering to prove a point. That's actually called being a dry drunk, and generally those people are pretty miserable. If someone's recovery requires suffering to prove, purity or worthiness, then I don't really think that's healing. I think that's something closer to performance. And performance isn't good for sobriety. Not that kind, anyway. Hope y'all are having a good week. Got to get ready for this crazy winter storm. Still on 6 milligrams here, and honestly, not feeling that bad. I feel like I've definitely hit a plateau, and man, I'm glad to feel the relief. All right, that's all I got. Stay safe.